in a television studio shows Phil Hartman and Chris Farley sitting in chairs. Hartman. Hello, I'm Hill Fartman, and welcome to our 16th installment of SNL's Crazy Critics, where one of our critics will critique the last SNL episode. Joining us for this episode is Conrad Farthington, a former video store clerk with an encyclopedic knowledge of In Living Color, as well as a working man's knowledge of SNL. Welcome, Conrad. Farley.
Thank you for having me.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, as Joe King walks out, sits next to Farley and says,
Yes, it is I, Joe King. I'm not joking. And while I'd love for the woke Mr. Farthington here to critique the show on his own, there were so many secret messages thrown my way that I'd be remiss if I didn't come on here and help critique the show myself.
Hartman. Very well. Also joining us is Saturday Night Alive producer Joe King. So, fellas, what were your thoughts on the cold open? Farley.
Honestly, anytime the show makes fun of America's most arrogant criminal defendant, Donald Trump, it's a treat. James as always did a great impression, and everything from covering Taylor Swift to having Keenan portray Don King, Devin as Afro Man, and Mikey as Donald Jr. was awesome. I just can't wait until someday soon where they'll be able to do a cold open with Trump behind bars.
Hoffman.
Now that's never going to happen, okay? First of all, since my alter ego and co-producer Tom Murphy is a former public defender and current defense attorney, discussing Trump's legal issues was a secret message to me.
Hartman. So you think that discussing the first former president to ever be indicted was a secret message to you? Hoffman.
That's right, Farben, and despite how much this lefty Conrad here wants to see Trump behind bars, it's never going to happen, okay? First of all, he's going to be arraigned on Zoom and won't even be in New York, okay? And the charges are very flimsy. It's a misdemeanor masquerading as a felony with the statute of limitations having run long ago. Okay, honestly, I don't like to get too political, but this has the potential to backfire on the left as it could be perceived as a witch hunt and make Trump look like a sympathetic figure.
Farley.
Trump as a sympathetic figure? What are you smoking?
Hoffman lights up a cigarette and says,
Camel Blues.
Hartman. Okay, and how about Quinta Brunson's monologue? Farley.
Oh my God, it was great. I love Abbott Elementary, and I was so happy to see Quinta hosting. Honestly, I loved how she mentioned her love for SNL. And how she dreamed being on the show one day, and here she was hosting. And I honestly almost cried when they played the video of President Obama sending a message to Quinta's mom on the phone. That was, honestly, one of the best moments in SNL history.
Hoffman.
Why do you keep saying honestly? We assume what you're saying is genuine, Conrad. Jesus. Okay, anyway. Yes, former President Obama's video message was cute, okay? Obama is, of course, from Chicago. My alter ego, Tom Murphy, is also from Chicago. So having Barack Obama make a video cameo was a secret message to me.
Hartman. So, they didn't play that video because it was a monumental moment for Miss Brunson, but instead because it was a secret message to you? Hoffman.
That's right.
Farley.
That's nonsense. They played it because Obama is the greatest president of our time. It had nothing to do with you.
Hoffman.
Now, I don't know about that, okay? My sources tell me Quinta went bowling with George Bush the next night, but they didn't show that video because I'm not from Texas.
Hartman. Moving on, what did you think of the first sketch after the monologue? Drug dealer. Barley.
Oh, my God. Honestly?
Hoffman.
We assume you're being honest. Just get to the point.
Farley.
Whatever. I thought it was very funny. The premise of the sketch was Andrew and Devin thinking of buying cocaine from Marcelo, and then eventually also from Quinta, Keenan, and Punky, with the four of them each explaining that their particular cocaine was, quote, so white. It was a great premise to make some one-liners about white people. Hoffman, one-liner, cocaine, very nice, okay? I, of course, am, quote, so white, so that, of course, was a secret message to me. But I did take umbrage with one of the so white jokes.
Hartman, which one was that?
Hoffman, Quinta said, this coke is so white, it likes to say it's from Chicago, but it's from a suburb like an hour outside of Chicago. Okay, first of all, the suburb I live in is much less than an hour from Chicago. Okay, and I was raised within the city limits. Okay, so that was a secret message to me.
Barley,
I'm not lying when I say I liked the whole sketch, except the part where Michael was selling black tar heroin that was so black. I didn't think that was appropriate.
Hoffman,
oh, come on, all he said was it was so black that it was strong, equal, and we should give it a chance. It's not like he said it was so black that it eats fried chicken in a FUBU jacket or something like that.
Hartman, wow, this is a show with class. Please refrain from any more African-American stereotypes.
Hoffman, was that too much? Okay, I was thinking of going with one about playing basketball without netting on the rims, but I figured...
Hartman, moving on, what did you think of the video sketch, Bridesmaid Cult Documentary?
Barley, truthfully, I thought the video was hilarious. I think showing the never-ending struggle of being a bridesmaid and all the time and money you have to spend was truly a great satire. Everyone in it did a great job.
Hoffman,
what can I say? It's a hot group of skirts they have on the show, okay, so I never mind when they dominate a sketch. And, of course, they had the bride, the lovely, beautiful, and talented Miss Chloe Feynman as a blonde, and gentlemen prefer blonde, so that was a secret message to me.
Hartman, aren't you married to a brunette?
Hoffman, that would be my alter ego, Mr. Murphy, and no need to mention his personal life, okay? I, on the other hand, Joe King, am a gentleman and prefer blondes.
Barley,
women aren't just objects that can be categorized by the color of their hair.
Hoffman,
well, that's news to me.
Hartman, anyway, how about the next sketch, Couple Goals?
Barley, I'm being forthright when I say that I love this sketch. It had James as a host of a game show, with Quinta and Keenan as one couple, and Punky and Michael as the other competing couple. While Punky and Michael didn't seem to know much about each other, Keenan and Quinta's relationship went off the rails when it was revealed Keenan had a secret fear of Quinta falling downstairs and he having to spend the rest of his life caring for her. It was dark.
Hoffman,
whoa!
Farley,
what?
Hoffman,
well, you're Mr. PC. Isn't it racist to say that a sketch with 3 black people was dark?
Barley gets extremely red and says,
that's not what I meant at all. You're racist for even making that insinuation.
Hoffman,
now hold on a minute. I'm just trying to keep this all PC, okay? Couldn't you have said that the humor was morbid?
Shows Farley drenched in flop sweat. Hartman, I'll have you know that describing humor as morbid is insulting to the dead.
Hoffman, well, I think I crossed that bridge a long time ago, Chief.
Hartman, moving on, what did you think of the next sketch, Traffic? Farley, while wiping sweat off his face with a towel, says,
the sketch involved Mikey as a father driving his daughter Chloe, where they had gotten in a road rage incident with another driver being Quinta. While, of course, this sketch was funny, I'll sincerely say that I was a little concerned that the 3 characters' use of sign language could be seen as insensitive to the deaf community.
Hoffman,
oh, for God's sake, they didn't make fun of deaf people or anything. You PCers, you're always looking for controversy.
Hartman, so I take it then, Joe, that you didn't find it as insensitive to deaf people. Hoffman,
well, as a purveyor of audio-only sketch comedy, I'm not too concerned with the deaf demographic.
Farley,
that's hateful. Hoffman. Well, hell, at least I love blind people. They have nothing to complain about with my show. Okay, anyway, the highlight for me was, of course, the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Feynman simulating sucking a cock with her use of sign language. Of course, the thought of Chloe Hartman. I'm not going to let you finish that thought. We'll just assume it was a horribly inappropriate secret message. Moving on, what did you think of Lil Yachty's musical performance? Farley. I genuinely thought the song and performance was great. I assume the song touched upon issues that resonate with disadvantaged people of color, so I was very moved. Hoffman. Well, I'll say this. I was not familiar with Lil Yachty before this performance, and dare I say it had a little bit of a Pink Floyd vibe, okay? You had a guitar, bass, drums, keys, the trippy background, and a woman singing beautifully, reminiscent of Great Gig in the Sky off the Dark Side of the Moon. And I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan and consider them among my favorite all-time bands. So Lil Yachty performing as such was a secret message to me. Hartman. So you think SNL booked Lil Yachty on its show in the hopes that you would find a connection between him and Pink Floyd and interpret it as a secret message? Hoffman. Did I stutter? Of course that's what happened. Barley. You're insane. Hoffman. Well, I always caution that when I'm sifting through SNL trying to find its secret messages to me, that it's always possible that I'm merely a schizophrenic narcissist. Okay, of course, both can be true, as here it was clearly a secret message. Hartman. Now let's get to what this particular SNL show may historically be remembered for. Weekend Update with an epic April Fool's joke on Colin Jost, orchestrated by Michael J. Farley. What can I say? I truly could not believe what was happening as I watched it live. Colin's jokes were not getting laughs, while Michael's jokes were killing. The whole thing culminated with someone in the audience yelling, "You stink," at one of Colin's jokes, with Colin burying his head in his hand, until Che revealed that he had told the audience not to laugh at him for April Fools. It was one of the funniest moments in the history of Weekend Update. I just wish the jokes the audience didn't laugh at weren't Trump jokes, as that sends the wrong message. Hoffman. Well, this is the 237th installment of Saturday Night Live, and without having a live studio audience, I have yet to hear a single laugh from any joke I've made. Okay, although I've had passerbys in the Forest Preserve where I record the show stop to tell me I stink. Okay, therefore, Colin living the life of Joe King was a secret message to me. Hartman. How about Michael Longfellow as Michelangelo's David? Barley. Well, I candidly thought this was great satire. It's obnoxious for any parents to want to rid Michelangelo's David from classrooms. And I thought Michael did a great job. I particularly love the line that Italy's SNL has full penetration and that their Matt Foley lived in a man down by the river. Hoffman. Yes, well, of course, Chris Farley is one of our cast members on Saturday Night Live, and we've spoofed Matt Foley with a similar character, the non-binary Pat Foley, in episodes 51 and 170, so Michael referencing Matt Foley was a secret message to me. Hartman. Referencing a character made famous on their own show was a secret message to you. Hoffman. What can I say? That or I'm a schizophrenic narcissist, perhaps both. Hartman. How about Marcello talking about Short King Spring? Barley. While Marcello did a great job, I faithfully believe that this was the first actual secret message of the night sent to Joe King, who of course is short and has the last name King. Hoffman. First of all, okay, I am 6'7". I just happen to suffer from a genetic optical illusion that makes me appear to be about a foot shorter. So try as I might, I couldn't find a secret message. Hartman. So says the Short King. Hoffman. Again, it's merely an optical illusion, a rare genetic condition. Hartman. Right.
How about the next sketch, Midway?
Farley. I'm being forthright when I say that this was a great sketch. It started with Heidi as a woman giving birth.
Hoffman.
And what was the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Gardner's surname in the sketch?
Barley.
I don't remember.
Hoffman.
Oh, I'll get to that.
Barley.
Anyway, her midwife, played by Bowen, got mad at the doctor, played by Quinta, for not remembering him from a barbecue before a Macklemore concert 11 years earlier. And he got revenge by pretending not to remember Quinta 3 years later while Chloe was giving birth. And then they showed the original meeting at the barbecue before the Macklemore concert, with the sketch then culminating in Heidi giving birth to a second child and Bowen appearing in a super long wig. With the realization that his hair had kept getting chronologically longer, it was one of those greatly silly but amazing sketches that I love.
Hoffman.
Now, as we all know, my alter ego is named Tom Murphy, and the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Gardner's character was named Mrs. Murphy, and that, therefore, was an over-the-top, obvious secret message to me.
Barley.
No way. Murphy's a very common last name.
Hoffman.
Be that as it may, you surely remember that at the last live show in the exorcism sketch, before the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Woden came in and did her thing, they were waiting on a Father Murphy to come to do the exorcist.
Barley.
That's just a coincidence.
Hoffman.
No way, no how, okay? I don't care how much of a schizophrenic narcissist I may be. The use of Murphy was a secret message, and they weren't done yet.
Hartman. How about Lil Yachty's second performance? Was it reminding you of Led Zeppelin this time?
Barley. I've never even heard of these ancient bands you're referring to, but I thought, in all truth, Lil Yachty was great once again.
Hoffman.
Despite your doubts, the song once again had a Pink Floyd vibe, which once again was a secret message to me.
Hartman. Okay, and the next sketch, titled Bosses.
Barley. I have to say that, voraciously, this sketch creeped me out. It is not okay to make light of sexual harassment against women in the workplace.
Hoffman.
Are you kidding? This was one of the greatest sketches of all time, and certainly one after my own heart, okay? First of all, if Mrs. Murphy in the midwife sketch didn't convince you of a secret message being sent, they hit you over the head with the secret message by having Bowen portray a character named Murphy.
Barley.
Nuh-uh. It was probably in homage to Eddie Murphy.
Hoffman.
No way. It was in homage to my alter ego, Eddie Murphy's Uncle Tom.
Hartman. Good God.
Hoffman. Anyway, the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Sarah Sherman was dressed as a man, and boy, if she wasn't doing a dead-on impression of yours truly, Juris Dr. King, by being hilariously forward with his appreciation of the body of the lovely, beautiful, and talented Miss Chloe Fineman, even if she didn't have blonde hair.
Barley.
That was not hilarious. It was cringe, seeing Chloe be harassed.
Hoffman.
I don't think she minded, okay? Boobs, big butt, setting off the penis alarm. I mean, if that didn't come straight from the mind of Joe King every time Chloe's on screen, am I right?
Farley.
Ew.
Hoffman.
But the secret messages were not done, as Quinta came out with a character named Benson, and Benson and Sarah's characters then came out and played bongos on Chloe's tits as the Penis Brothers. Okay, I of course have a penis and wouldn't mind playing Chloe as an instrument like I was Jim Carrey at the Coco Bongo. Therefore, the whole frickin' scene was in homage to me and was therefore a very special secret message to me.
Hartman. Just my luck to work for a guy who makes Harvey Weinstein blush. Finally, the last segment of the evening, Please Don't Destroy's video, Street Eats. Barley.
I don't care if King doesn't like me saying it. I honestly love this one. The trio did a great job spoofing New Yorkers, and it was fantastic seeing the customers at the Jamaican Restaurant not having any of their swag. The guy saying shut the fuck up to Ben's statement that rice was the thinking man's chips was hilarious. Hoffman. Well, I gotta say, I was a little taken aback that the name Murphy wasn't mentioned, okay? I was kind of getting used to it by that point in the show. But it was great, and they went to a Jamaican restaurant, and we previously had John Candy host our show, and he, of course, starred in Cool Runnings, and therefore it was a secret message to me. Okay, and I'll close this by saying during the closing credits, the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Heidi Gardner wore a law school hoodie. I'm a lawyer. It was then yet another secret message, and death from the earth, we're not alive!
It's Saturday Not Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jen Hooks, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Donitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest, Mark Russell, and your host, Mark Twain. Everybody, Mark Twain. Applause, applause, applause. Twain. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that cordial reception. I appreciate having the chance to host this program. I was once praised as the greatest humorist the United States has produced, so it's about damn time I was asked to host. I had a few good one-liners in my time, such as, politicians in diapers must be changed often, and for the same reason. Maybe that means they'll be indicting some dirty diapers soon. I want to mention my congratulations to Adam Sandler for winning the award with my namesake, the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Applause, applause, applause. Twain. He now joins a very select list of recipients, including the man Adam tries to emulate in his personal life, Bill Cosby. Don't trust any drink given to you by the water boy, or you'll be asleep while he's doing the Mr. Deeds to you and asking you who's your big daddy. Anyway, enough about Mr. Cosby's protege. I wrote most of my life and wrote many novels, with my personal favorite being the personal recollections of Joan of Arc. But of course, in the present day, I am best known for the novels, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the latter of which has often been called the great American novel. Applause, applause, applause. Twain. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is about the adventure undertaken by Huck and his friend Nick. Well, I better just call him Jim. Anyway, Huck and Jim sailed down the Mississippi, with Huck having to wrestle between his conscience, which, based on his upbringing, meant that he felt guilty for not turning in Jim for being a runaway slave, and his heart, which informed him of Jim's true human worth. As I said in lectures, a sound heart is a surer guide than an ill-trained conscience. Unfortunately, the book has been periodically banned by various places for its use of the N-word. In response, I'd argue that as ugly as the use of that word is, it was prevalent in the time I grew up in the antebellum South, and knowing that, based on my works, is a sign of progress. And moreover, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Anyway, we have a great show tonight. Political satirist Mark Russell is here. So get ready to hear For When You Wish Upon Ken Starr. We'll be right back.